So my last vlog was my return to England, and whilst I achieved a lot and I had a lot of fun, it was very tiring. I tended to structure the week around visiting friends one day and taking a rest the next day, and that was throughout the week. And whilst I achieved a lot, I met a lot of friends and family, but I was exhausted. Then I returned to Japan and immediately had my immunotherapy dose. That had been delayed because of my trip to England, but I had because of diarrhea. Fortunately, I didn't have any diarrhea on the plane or during my England trip. Then I went to Universal Studios, and that is, for those of you who don't know, that's a theme park. And we stayed there for 2 nights and averaged around 15,000 steps per day, which was pushing it, to say the least. And I was on a 7 hours sleep per night, whereas usually I require 10 or 11 hours sleep. A few days later, I went to a rock concert to see Def Leppard and Motley Crue, and I danced there, and dare I say, I had a beer as well. My first alcohol in months and months. And I think all that combined, I was just exhausted. And on the Sunday, I went for my MRI and I could barely walk to the train station. I had my MRI and that was good news. There's no new tumours or growth from the tumours. But that evening I vomited really bad, and I think that was just my body saying, you can't keep on doing this. I was so exhausted. I was just trying to live my life before cancer, but I can't do that anymore. That's the reality. I get too tired and it catches up with you. So then I've been slowing the pace down a little bit. So then a few days ago I went for the test result of my immunotherapy and to have my final dose of immunotherapy. But I'm sad to say that the cancer has not gone down. It's stayed flat. If anything, one tumour marker went up, increased by 13%. So this is a real shock because the medicine was working. You know, the Yervoy, or Yervoy as it's sometimes called. I was so sure it was going to work because it worked on the 2 previous occasions in July and August. So really gut-wrenching to see that it can go down. But that's the way it is. So I'm now out of options as far as Japan's concerned. I mean, they have clinical trials here, but they're very few. And we've been on the register for like a year now, and they've not come up with any solution at all. So a few tears have been shed, to say the least. I could probably try chemotherapy, but doctors have never discussed that, and I think the reason why is that's only supposed to prolong your life for a year, and it's meant to make you incredibly sick. So I'm going to have to go to the UK and see what clinical trials are available, which means possibly losing my job, losing access to Japanese healthcare, which comes with monthly MRIs. We can't get that sort of thing in the UK. However, it looks like that's the way I'm gonna be forced to proceed. I don't want to take my family there because I don't want to uproot them in the off chance that I can get a drug that works, because it's not guaranteed that I'll get a drug that works, and it's not guaranteed I'll find work. Work in Japan has just been incredibly good. My company's been incredibly loyal to me. They've looked after me when I was sick. They paid me on a percentage of my salary, and they're really patient with me. You know, I go to the office 2 or 3 days a week, and I do the bare minimum, I suppose. And the CEO is fine with that because he's patient with me. So I may need to let that go as well, which will be, you know, I dread to think how my family's going to survive without a salary. So it's not a pleasant vlog update. But that's the subject, you know. We're talking about cancer, stage 4 cancer. It's never going to be happy blog update by the means of the topic. Is always going to be a sad undertone. Maybe I'll find a drug that works and I'll get better in the UK. But there's always a twist to everything. And maybe there isn't a happy ending.